This is where we started today. So we look at this one. We're doing the reciprocal of the y value, right? So I look at pi over 2. Pi over 2 is on your unit circle. It's straight up, right? The y value is 1. So the reciprocal of the y value would just be 1 over 1, which is still just 1. This is the y value. Then we reciprocate the y value. Cool, the very last question is much, much harder. It's definitely the hardest one. I'm looking at cosecant. So again, that tells me I want to reciprocate the y value, right? Because cosecant is 1 over sine. But then I have a tricky angle. I have negative 240 degrees. Those of you who can visualize going backwards 240 degrees, do that. Yeah, that's a great strategy. Some of us have that talent to look at something and be able to see it in reverse. Some of us don't. Chalk me up as someone who doesn't. Right? That's difficult for me. So what I do is I take the negative angle and I find a coterminal angle by adding 360 degrees. That will give me the same position. So 120 degrees is the same spot. So I want to reciprocate the y value at negative 240 or at 120, depending how you want to look at it. I go to my unit circle. I look for 120 degrees. The y value is root 3 over 2. That's the y value. We need to reciprocate that. Right? We need to flip it. That's nice spell reciprocal. I missed a letter in there. You just flip that fraction so it becomes 2 over root 3. Okay, that's good. That's the right answer. The exact value of cosecant at negative 240 degrees is 2 over root 3. That answer, though, would never show up on multiple choice or numeric response, and it wouldn't be accepted on a written response, even though it's correct. How come? Brandon, hit it.
You can't have a radical on the bottom.
You got it. You got to rationalize that denominator. Right? Can't have radicals on the bottom. So I got to multiply the top and the bottom by root 3. When I do that, I make it explicit that I'm multiplying by a fraction, root 3 over root 3. Remember that was a trick we talked about early in the year? When I rationalize, I have to show this division sign in between. What I'm really doing is multiplying by 1, which is not changing the number. It's just changing the way it looks. On the bottom, sorry, I started on the top. On the top, it's 2 root 3. On the bottom, root 3 times root 3 is root 9. Square root of root 9, square. The square root of 9 is 3. The answer is 2 root 3 over 3. I really made a silly error. I should not put an arrow there. I should put an equal sign in that spot. This equals this. The arrow is like not a mathematical symbol, right? I'm just saying somehow I went from that to that. I did it by reciprocating. If these things aren't equal, I should put an equal sign in between there. That's very, very picky. But like, if something equals, you should put equals.
Is that something you would dock?
They would dock you it probably if you put something equal that didn't equal. So if you did this, put an equal sign there in blue, they'll probably dock you for that. Because that's not true, right? They'll dock you when you put things that aren't true. Root 3 over 2 does not equal 2 over root 3. So I can't put an equal sign in between them. That's why I chose to put an arrow. To say, oh yeah, I'm transitioning it, I'm reciprocating it, I'm doing something. Putting an arrow instead of an equal sign, I don't think they would document that. Maybe. Got a picky person. Alright, that's using the unit circle. Let's get back into some questions here. Sometimes we'll need a unit circle, sometimes we won't. We got this guy. We got if cos A equals root 3 over 2, and then they tell you something. They say 0 less than A less than 90. They're telling you boundaries. They're saying that you're in quadrant 1. You're in between 0 and 90. That's the first quadrant. And B equals 60 degrees plus A, then the value of secant B is. Okay, working this thing backwards a little bit. I'm trying to find secant B. That means I need to figure out what B is. I couldn't tell you what secant of B is if I don't know what B is. I need to figure out that angle. To figure out that angle, they gave me this thing. They said, okay, well, B is equal to 60 degrees plus A. That means I need to figure out what A is. Looking back at the start of the question, they mentioned A. They had it over here. They said cos of A would equal root 3 over 2. So that means the x value at angle A is root 3 over 2. X value at angle A is root 3 over 2. Well, root 3 over 2 should like ring all kinds of alarm bells for you. Like that's on the unit circle. Look at your unit circle. Where do you see an x value of root 3 over 2? You actually see it in two spots, right? You see it in quadrant 1 and you see it in quadrant 4. So technically there's two different things A could be. That's why this was so important. They're saying use the angle in quadrant 1. So I look just in quadrant 1. Where do I see an x value at x value of root 3 over 2? It's at 30 degrees. That's where that happens. So that means A equals 30 degrees. If A equals 30 degrees, that means B must equal 90 degrees. Now that I know that B equals 90 degrees, I can answer secant of 90 degrees. But I had to use all that previous info, right? I just had to keep going back until I had enough info. Secant is 1 over cos. So we're doing the reciprocal of cos. The cos is the x value, so reciprocal of x value at 90 degrees. Perfect. I go to my unit circle. I look at 90 degrees. It's straight up. The x value is 0. The reciprocal of 0 is not 0. The reciprocal of 0 is 1 over 0, which is undefined. You can't divide by 0. So the answer is D, undefined. That is like a typical unit circle question. Yeah, the ones we did before, too basic, right? You're not going to get that. But you're going to have to use that skill of just reading a unit circle to answer something. I do think the hardest part of these trig questions is realizing all the info you have, right? There was a lot of information that we actually had that we had to build up to be able to answer the question. And recognizing that info. That's not easy, right? It comes with lots of practice. Okay, let's try number 13. If cos of an angle equals -3/5 and tangent is greater than 0, then the value of sine squared theta minus cos squared theta is blank. Okay. First thing, looking at this, that is not on my unit circle. So this is not a unit circle question. Right? Like, you should be able to recognize when things are like unit circles. 1/2, unit circle. √2/2, unit circle. √3/2, unit circle. 3/5, not unit circle. Hello, if I can figure out how to pause my recording. Uh-oh, this might stop it.